Hello, and you're watching a brand new episode of Melt. I'm Ritvika Gupta, and on the show today we'll be speaking to Srija Chatterjee and Ajay Gahlaut of Publicis Worldwide. Anant Rangaswamy, editor of Melt, joins me today. Hi, Anant.
Hello.
Anant, sometime last year, Publicis came up with the Power of One strategy that sort of helps to service their clients and partners better, and also, more importantly, simplifies the entire process. So, what do you think is the advantage of Power of One? And tell us a little bit about your conversation with Ajay and Srija.
First is not Publicis Worldwide, it's the group, the entire group. So that includes, say, Leo Burnett, it includes Publicis, it includes L&K Saatchi, it includes all their companies.
Yeah.
So basically it's nomenclature, it's been done before, it's not been branded as they branded it. Martin Sorrell used to call the same exercise horizontality. Now Publicis Groupe calls it the Power of One. Basically it's saying that to simplify the client's life, they'll have a single point contact which will help the client solve their communication tasks, whether it needs digital, social, films, mainline, print, whatever it may be. So it's a single point contact for the client and a single point strategy that runs through.
Yeah.
So that's what they're trying to achieve here.
Okay, so let's have a look at the conversation. Let's get ready to melt with Srija Chatterjee and Ajay Gahlaut.
Hello, Srija.
Hi.
Hello, Ajay.
Hi, Anant.
So start with you, Srija.
Yes,
Now you've been part of the Publicis empire for some time.
2 years.
And now you've got your A team into place with Ajay coming
Absolutely. With an A.
with an A.
Yeah.
So now tell me how life will change for your clients.
So I think in the case of creativity, with new people, new blood comes new thinking. And that's what the clients are looking forward to, approaching the same problem with different new eyes, and therefore the solution could be not the expected. The clients know that he comes with great lineage, he's done some fantastic work, and they absolutely look forward to him unleashing that onto their brands.
Right. So Ajay, you've been writing about, you're coming here and you're going to change things, and the power of one is one.
Right.
So, which is very different from what you did at your previous job.
Right.
So tell me how philosophically you're going to change and how, again, clients will see that benefit.
So there's been a way I've been used to working for a while, and what I like about the new role is that way will change now.
Right.
And firstly, it's a nimbler, faster way of working now, and with the power of one that Publicis brings into play for all the clients, there's inputs from all over with a central sort of thought. So the power of one is the power of one organization, also the power of one idea.
Right.
The client gets both the benefits, the power of one organization as well as the creative idea or the communication idea that we put out. It's all one single unit, and it's all focused towards a common goal, as opposed to working from silos, where sometimes things tend to get fragmented, and the solution is not as sharp and as pinpointed as it could be. Yeah. And I think here the focus is on that, and that is exciting for me.
Right. Now, Publicis also has a far greater focus on, say, digital.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So how do you see your role in bringing digital solutions to your clients?
So I don't think the power of an idea has been diluted at all. And that is something that I consider something that I like to do, and I've been doing for a while. Digital will be new channels that we will be deploying the same idea through, and that is the exciting bit. So I don't think actually knowing a technology is necessary to be able to deploy an idea through it. As long as you know what that technology can do, you can then come up with solutions and come up with communication ideas and brand ideas that you can you can give to the client.
Srija, one of the challenges and one of the reasons for the siloation was to try and up the revenue. So you got so much from your mainline agency, so much extra from digital, so much extra from social, so much extra from PR, and hopefully that helped your bottom line and top line, but that wasn't very nice for the client. So how do you deal with that challenge? Because your costs are real. How do you get your yields up? How does Power of One help you get your yields up?
So for Power of One, Well, it makes business sense, and also it makes sense for the client, which is why it is a success, because it's a win-win from both sides.
So I'm the client, explain to me how it benefits
So
you.
for the client, it is sanctity of the idea. It is one team that's working together. In the earlier days, what used to happen is there was one agency that was doing digital, somebody was doing PR, somebody was doing experiential, and somebody was doing advertising. Typically what used to happen, the advertising agency used to make the idea, create the idea, and then deploy or explain it to the other partner agencies. What then used to happen, and I've experienced that personally in my life, is that the digital agency then would do a cut of the idea. So the idea sanctity was kind of lost, or the experiential agency, because what have they brought to the party? They felt that their creativity would get constrained if they took the same idea. So therefore the idea got diluted. In this case, the sanctity of the idea is there because it's one team that's working on it. The client gets accountability. He doesn't need to coordinate with 15 agencies to make the idea come to life. This team develops and deploys, and therefore that's the advantage to the client. And for us it is business sense, because then together we are seeing the business in its entirety. We know the challenges of the business across different channels, and of course it makes business sense.
So does that require the average person in your team to understand business better than say in a mainline agency?
Yes, and I think that's one thing that Publicis does. It's extremely, it explains this, people know the benefit of Power of One. They know how to assess the advantages of Power of One, how to understand what the client problems are, and therefore what kind of solution should they get from one of our sister agencies. It's not just that we need to all go together and dump all our solutions to the client. As and when the client problem is identified, we then go with the solution.
Client problem?
It's typically the business and the strategy team that are embedded, and most often than not it happens with the mainline agency, that because they have the longer relationship. There are some Power of Ones that also happen the other way around.
Every time you say Power of One, I'm going to charge you 100 rupees.
Okay, fine.
Work? Yeah. So
Tell me how much to give you by now. Let's call it PO1.
Right. Okay.
So it's typically identified by the key holder of the business.
Right.
And then the other agencies are got in as and when required.
So Ajay, do you think it's likely, or is it already happening, that an Ajay Gahlaut presents the renditions of an idea from TVC to digital to social to print to whatever, the entire gamut? Are you going to do that? Experiential?
Yes, absolutely. Why not? It doesn't necessarily mean that I personally will present everything, but I will preside over the presentation.
And no, you take responsibility for it.
I take responsibility for it, because that's the whole idea, to protect the sanctity of that single thought or that single idea that we have. So yes, of course, we present everything from digital to experiential to the mainline campaigns.
So now tell me, make it easy for my viewers. If 20 agencies say exactly what you're saying, why do I believe you and not the other 19? Because lots of people are saying it's a single point solution. They don't have Power of One. Now I'll pay you 100 rupees.
Branding.
So they don't necessarily have that, but they do say single window solution, one person who does that. So why is yours more believable or not believable?
We've been doing it for, ever since I've come into Publicis, this has been the way, and we do it on multiple clients. So reason to believe, we've delivered it on. It's not just lip service.
Again, let me help my viewers. So tell me a client who has benefited from this.
So, for example, on a client like Garnier, we are Indigo is the digital agency. We are the mainline agency. We work together on productions. Prodigious has been part of the production. We've done a few films with Prodigious. So it's more than just us having an above the line so-called television communication conversation, and then separately the clients having a digital conversation. Like this, there are many clients that we are already deploying, more than any client where there is more than one party that is working with the client is something that we define as Power of One. The more the parties, the even stronger our relationship with the client. And that we are having, more than 50% of our clients would be
Beneficiaries.
coming into this.
In an earlier construct, you had to talk to your creative team and your servicing and maybe planning team.
Right.
And then you had to speak to the client.
Right.
Now you have some lateral conversations also. You got to talk to, say, your digital company or your
Right.
production house or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So how much more difficult is your job by those lateral conversations?
So I wouldn't call them lateral. They're regular conversations. It's just that it's a larger team. There are more people to take along on board, and
They're not sitting here in house with you. They're not, somebody you
Well,
can whistle for.
actually they are. We've got Prodigious sitting with us, we've got Content Factory sitting with us, we've got Publicis Entertainment sitting with us. In the building next door there's Indigo and there is ARC.
Right.
So a lot of the Power of One agencies are in this campus.
Yeah, but does it allow you to just
It makes
walk
life
across
so
and
much
talk?
easier. I just came from that meeting.
Right, okay.
Right. So proximity definitely helps, but even if there isn't proximity, I think there is a process, and talking, whether it's remotely, whether it's Skyping, or whether it's making a telephone call, but it is a process, and that seems to be helping this entire power of one to come together.
Yep, now,
And I must say WhatsApp groups help.
right, okay.
Yeah, so there are groups of teams and then there are discussions on that so that one is not constantly briefing the rest of the team members.
Okay, now tell me, from your perspective, is a lot of your day eaten up in process? Because, process is the enemy of the Ajay Gahlouts of the world. So does time get eaten up in process? Meetings, con calls, VCs, stuff like that you hear the consultants forever doing?
So initially, yes, it was, because it is a different way of working, and in any different way of working, one, says, hello, why am I doing this? Once you start seeing the benefit of it, and once you've done it across multiple clients, this has become now a way of life. So now it doesn't bother at all. It's these kind of meetings happen.
You're still new to the system?
I'm still new to the system, and it's a new thing, and anything new has a degree of discomfort in it. And yes, I did feel a bit, because people come from different disciplines, they have different ways of looking at it. So you can either feel disenchanted and uncomfortable about it, or you can embrace it. And I've decided to embrace it, and I've seen once you embrace it, it's good to get those sometimes contrarian points of view. Sometimes things which you feel are absolutely crystal clear are not that clear to somebody, but then you find out what the reason is, and then you say, hey, that's another way of looking at it. So it's mind expanding in a way, and if you embrace it, like we are all trying to do, I'm trying to do, it just helps. It helps the process more than anything else.
But the underlying danger to any new system is that time which takes away from what you thought was your core competence time requirement.
Right.
So let's say in your case it's sitting at your table and staring at a blank piece of paper.
I'm very good at that. Yes.
But now that takes away from that, and if you go to answer multiple emails, or even if it's a WhatsApp group, answer WhatsApp groups. So,
well, it's not that bad, Anand.
Right. I'm trying to
Yeah,
understand.
it's not that bad at all. Yes, there are other things to do, but you'll be surprised how much you can do. Just sitting around, and it's not very difficult. Yes, you have to do it, but it's not. I haven't experienced that there's this deluge of unnecessary administrative things that I'm doing, taking away from what I love doing. I haven't seen it like that.
Wonderful.
So it really it works.
So from a client's point of view, he's not on multiple WhatsApp groups as well, right? He's got
No,
one conversation.
He's got one conversation.
That's all. So he talks to you.
And he's got one lead, whoever the brand lead is, we define
He or she.
He or she, the client, we define the he or she
In your agency.
in our agency, who is
Right.
the power of one lead. We call that person the power of one lead.
Right.
So that, any issues with any of the power of one partners, again I'm saying power of one, is escalated to that person. And that person's job is to solve it. And if it's not solvable, then it's escalated upwards to some of us.
Now we come to the most important part of this conversation, which is the most important part of your existence, which is the creative product. Yeah. What does this new way of thinking do for the creative product? Because that's why you exist, certainly.
Right.
That's why this entire business exists. So what does it do? Does it help, enhance, kill? what does it do for the creative product for you?
No, it doesn't kill. See, firstly, we are discovering as we go along.
Right.
I haven't found that it hinders or hampers things in any way. It only pushes you to find better solutions, to find solutions that hang together well across all channels. Sometimes, the first solution might only be good for one medium, say.
Right.
But when you push yourself to find a more inclusive idea, something that is more single pointed and something which is simpler, which allows us to encompass all the channels that the consumer is on these days and where we have to find our consumer. And so I haven't found, I think it is only refining our thinking. I don't think it is hindering or hampering it in any way.
Right. So now tell me, in the short time you've been here,
Right.
one big campaign is rolled out,
Right.
which you're very happy with.
So
Why do you hesitate?
So right now, no. So right now, I'm in the process of getting into things. Right. So I think 6 months down the line, if you ask me the same question, because there are lots of buns in the oven, as they say.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff happening, and if you ask me the same question 6 months down the line, there'll be at least 2 or 3 campaigns which will showcase this new kind of thinking, this third wave as we call it over here, or the power of one solution that we have. But I'm happy with a film that we did recently for MX Player for the elections.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I thought that was a nice auspicious
MX
start.
Player,
Right.
tell me the process, how the Power of One process worked with MX Player. Where did the business originate?
So
who was the lead, and so on?
So MX Player is a relationship which is part of one, which is media and creative.
Sure.
Okay?
So it came from media.
No, so it came from creative.
Right.
And we also do the media buying.
Right.
So that's
When
the
you
power
say
of
we,
one.
meaning, Zenith. Or
No, Publicis Beehive.
Media.
Yeah,
Okay,
Publicis
right.
Beehive does
Right.
the media buying.
Right.
So the relationship is that way. It's more than one partner,
Right.
but we don't do the digital yet.
Right.
We will hopefully, but we don't do the
And
digital.
the
yet.
production was prodigious?
Production on the case of the launch films of MX Player was prodigious. In the case of this election film, it wasn't.
Okay.
It's not that we do all our films.
No, sure. Right. I get that. So tell me the whole process for you was as painless or less painless as it always been?
Yes,
Nothing-
it was fairly painless. In fact, it was particularly painless.
Right.
It was as far as the idea goes. It was during the briefing that we had the idea, and that was what was rolled across. And thankfully, the client loved the script, the first crack out of the box. So it was a particularly painless process in this particular case. Touch wood, hopefully that
So
continues.
now,
Yeah.
part of what both of you are going to be doing is, I guess, hunting for more people to strengthen your key offices, whether it's Bangalore, Delhi, Bombay.
Yes.
So, what kind of animal are you looking for, different from what an agency might have looked for? Is it a different animal or is it the same animal?
So I think larger than skill set, because skills can be, enhanced.
Right.
For me, at least personally, I am looking for people who are hungry. So I believe we are a growing agency. Growth is a fundamental requirement for all of us. We are performance driven, extremely performance driven. So for me, it's the attitude of the person that is very critical. Hungry to do good work, hungry to go beyond their comfort zone, and constantly looking for more. That, unsettled feeling. Those kind of people drive for more, better work. So that's the kind of persona I would like.
And Ajay, what?
Pretty much the same, and
No, for example, earlier you had a copy test,
Right,
let's say, in
right.
a previous construct.
right.
Is that copy test so important to you now? Or what is it that you're going to look for in a new paradigm?
So, firstly, the youngsters who are coming in are already very, very technology savvy.
Right.
They know enough about technology to create communication for it. I don't think it requires, a degree from IIT to do that.
Right.
You need to be familiar with it, and you need to know what it delivers to be able to create communication,
Right.
or a touch point for the consumer, how to use it as a touch point. So the thing hasn't changed much. I'm looking for creative, I'm looking for creative people with talent. I'm looking for people who are, it's very difficult to say, just good people, You can tell A grade talent when you see it. You can tell that this person will, for instance, when we go to these, when we meet a new creative guy, we go to a portfolio night kind of a situation.
Which you will go in a few days.
Right. So when we do that, it's very easy to spot a superior creative talent.
Right.
You know, and I've done that earlier, and you don't go wrong with that. So I don't think that is going to change too much.
Okay, fantastic. So all the best to two of you.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you so
hopefully
much.
talk to you 6 months from now.
Right,
Yes.
right.
You got more to show.
Yes.
And till then, let's hope people absorb the power of one and all that
Part one.
Srija sold it to. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Anand.
Anand.
Thank you so much.
And that was the conversation. Anand, do you think this strategy will work for other agencies?
First has to work for Ajay and Srija and Publicis Groupe India. See, this has been done before. And the problem is the construct of the business. You can say it's a single point solution, but each solution provider has got his or her P&L and his or her eye on the bottom line. So what seems to be seamless might end up costing a lot more. So I'd like to see what happens. Ajay shared a few examples of how 3-4 units of Publicis Groupe were helping clients. I'd like to wait and watch to see whether it succeeds in the long run. I mean, it's an experiment now, though they don't call it that, and we'll wait and watch. And if it succeeds, you can be damn sure other agencies will copy this as well.
All right, on that note, it's a wrap on this episode of Melt. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Do not forget to watch all our content on our social media platforms. Our handle is Ready to Melt. Goodbye.